Good morning and welcome to today's reflection. The reading is from Mark chapter 5, and it's when Jesus was being pressed by a large crowd round about Galilee. So a large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once Jesus realised that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and he asked, "Who touched my clothes?" There's an old chorus that used to be sung many years ago, and it went like this. I'm not going to sing it. This is just what the words say. Touching Jesus is all that really matters, then your life will never be the same. There's only one way to touch him. Just believe when you call on his name. Often we hear about people crying out to God for various needs in life, asking God to touch them by his power. And I think there's something wonderful and amazing about touching Jesus. Touching him, of course, requires that we draw close to him. Just one touch of the Master's hand will make all the difference in any situation. On that day, in our reading, many years ago, there was a very sick, frail little woman who had decided to believe in Jesus' power to heal her. And so she did what she had to do to get to him and touch God for her need. Her story has inspired and encouraged many people to keep pressing on until they feel the touch of Jesus. She had great faith and determination. And as we go through life, I'm sure you all have met people with great faith and determination. There were a lot of people following Jesus that day. You see, the news had spread that Jesus was about to perform a miracle of healing for Jairus' daughter. Can you imagine the crowd growing bigger and bigger and bigger as the news spread? The Lord walked along at the front of the crowd that continued to grow as he walked. And Jesus' disciples were there too. Their desire was to emulate him and learn as much as they could, so they were never far away. And we should be like that today, always listening to what Jesus is saying and learning from it. The woman with the issue of blood waited until the crowd drew near because she was too weak to go very far to meet him. By this time, she had let a lot of people get ahead of her because she lived in a time when it was unheard of for a woman to approach a man of God boldly. She had to finally come to a decision that it just didn't matter what anyone said or thought. She had to get to touch Jesus. This was her only chance, and she would not pass it up. She shoved and she pushed her way through the crowd of people. I can imagine that she had to endure some hard knocks. People pushing back, criticising words, hard stares, and even some that didn't think that she deserved to be there. But she wouldn't give up until she touched Jesus, and of course she was healed. We too should be like this when it comes to getting close to Jesus. We need to push through our crowd, whatever it might be. Maybe some of us are too busy doing other things to be bothered to push through. Perhaps it's too much television or too much sport or radio or some other kind of hobby. Whatever it may be, we need to push through our crowd to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. If we do, then we will be mightily blessed. Here's another wee chorus. If I could just touch the hem of his garment, I know I'd be made whole. If I could just press my way through this madness, his love would heal my soul. So begin pressing in right now and let nothing stop you. Keep going till you touch the hem of his garment. Thank you again for listening.